Sean chuckled. He was actually in a good mood, but red lights made him grumpy. So did traffic and other small inconveniences that happened to hamper his fun. Sean had a nasty temper. He felt entitled to all of the good things in life. He believed that traffic was beneath him, and that, quite frankly, the kid and the bike should have hustled to get out of the way of Sean's expensive and sleek-looking sports car. He carelessly cut people off, and when they honked at him, he just grinned and flipped them off out the window.
"Let's move it!"
he yelled, honking his horn furiously at the vehicle he was trailing. They were all going the speed limit, but that wasn't fast enough for Sean, so he honked and got so close to their bumper that he would have hit them if they were to suddenly stop. Sean could see the driver of the van, a woman, looking over her shoulder at him. She looked scared, and so he grinned, honking the horn even more. It looked like she had some kids in there, so he barked,
"Stay home where you belong,"
as he finally got enough room to zoom around her van, nearly clipping her bumper as he passed.
"I don't have time to take a leisurely drive. People like that don't belong on the road at this time of day. People are just getting off work. The nerve of that woman only going the speed limit."
Sean was feeling his anger rise. He worked hard. Well, not today, but most days. Layla knew not to touch the scotch, nor to offer it to anybody else, including her dad if he visited. It was Sean's scotch and his alone. This was his reward to himself for his contributions to their household, not to mention for being such a great man and husband. He didn't share very well, and Layla was his wife and therefore his property. This had been Sean's monthly ritual for years, one that Layla would lovingly go through so much work to prepare for him. He was lucky to have Layla. She always went the extra mile for him, and no matter what mood he was in, she never argued with him. She was the perfect wife, except she had the misfortune to age, which is why Rosie was in the picture. Ah, Rosie. It was all perfect, actually. The perfect setup of mistress, wife, and job. It all clicked well, and allowed him to budget time for both of them. In fact, there was a cute new waitress at his favorite lunchtime diner, so he was thinking about chatting her up very soon too. He could probably find time for her once or twice a month as well. Layla enjoyed the walks, and Sean didn't mind going along at all, because there were usually many hot women jogging on the trail. Sean had perfected the skill of ogling without being obvious. He wasn't going to let anything upset the balance of his world. Right now, he had it made in the shade. He continued to take it out on other drivers, including any pedestrians that happened to be in his way. She also had no idea that Sean made Rosie's car payments and gave her cash from every paycheck. He didn't want one food item to touch any other food item. It irked him to see food touching. And so Layla arranged the steak on a plate of its own. The giant baked potato was on another plate, and his french fries on yet another heated plate. Each plate had its own heat-sterilized utensils alongside it as well. Since the steakhouse meal was so expensive, and Sean only gave her enough cash for the purchase of his meal and scotch, she ordered the least expensive item on the menu for herself, a small garden salad with cucumber dressing. He had never once offered to buy her meal from there.
"Why so close to my face?"
he thought. Sean finally stood up and screamed at the top of his lungs that his food was getting cold. He hated cold food.
Rah!
Sean was at his wit's end, and he screamed for Layla to get the disinfectant spray so that she could immediately clean that part of his expensive table. He was so disgusted at the thought that he covered his eyes and squinted at the same time. Suddenly, and in an apparent show of defiance,